depending on how many acres you have, they could have been there on the left. They could be talking about I'm not sure. Field of range, possibly. They did make another statement, secret projects. They said, I need a chip inflator. Insulator. Sorry, not inflator. Insulator.
Chip inflator, so that's something for computer or weapon, right?
Right, that has to deal with electrical outlets, chipboards, motherboards.
Right, okay.
They said the boat can hold them all.
So it's probably taking place right on the Detroit River then. Unless it's on the creek, but I don't think it's deep enough for a big boat. You can take a rowboat there, probably a smaller.
That they said exporter and fishing. Sorry, hold on. What did you say?
Oh, I was just saying, that would probably have to be a bigger boat, so it would be off the Detroit River, because the creek that's behind my house, a couple blocks away, is probably too shallow for a bigger boat. I know you can take a rowboat there, probably a really small fishing boat, something like that, but nothing that weighs a lot,
Well, an exporter would be able to expedite goods.
Oh, okay.
Right? I mean, I don't know every single type of ship or boat out there. I could hardly tell you the difference between a tanker and a dinghy.
Right.
I'm not a nautical engineer. But usually exporting has to deal with trades and goods. And if they're talking about exporter and fishing, this would have to be some form of fishing boat and exchanges. So it would be for dual purposes.
Okay.
And if Gloria is the boat's name, at least we have the boat's name and the description of the type of boat that it is.
Okay.
but that might be for trafficking purposes.
Right.
They made a statement called Ben. It said order a hotel through the company. And that is roughly what I could find with inside the 0 to, or the 15 to 30-second marker. Let's go to the 30-second to the 45-second marker for you. Did you have any questions about that section?
No.
I mean, there was a Pokemon scripture. They were talking about your Facebook program. A left field. If you have a left field inside of your home, there might have to deal something with a comp controller. Did you have any land grabs or problems with neighbors or things of that nature? I would look into more what a comp controller does. I need a chip. They could be a chip insulator. They could be talking about the internal components of your cell phone if they were connecting to your Facebook program and connecting to the metadata. So maybe that is a specific insulator, because they were talking about picking a low energy weapon. If that chip needed an insulator, it probably wouldn't be able to handle that weapon system if a personal attack was occurring through the cell phone. And they can cause attacks through cell phones.
Right. Yeah, as far as the land grab, the field is actually city-owned property, but I was offered by two people. One of them was my perp, and another person that was kind of sketchy, involved in some stuff. Probably the same. It involves the same kind of people, right? They wanted to offer me $25,000 for my house. I'm like, where am I going to live? Oh, you can live in an apartment. That's a lot of money, 25 grand. I'm like, that's nothing. I want a house. I like my house, but yeah, so I think that they're trying to do stuff to this house so they can.
Yeah, $25,000 is pretty low for a bid, even. Most houses are even a minimum of $110,000.
Well, here,
and
they're
it's
not really
like you have a pretty big home.
Yeah, but in Ecorse, you can get a house for like 50, 55 or something like that. So it's not, but still, it's like half of what I need. And why would I move to another? I mean, I'm already established here. This is my house,
Yeah, but 25 is such a low ball offer, especially when you have, in the other recording, you said they were talking about your rooms. So that is a possibility. There could be something going on with the land and that property that they're interested in and trying to flush you out and force you to sell for a low ball dollar amount because of the harassment.
Right. But why would I? Because I'm going to get harassed no matter where I go. I already know that. So, it's not going to do anything. But yeah, Robert Greene did tell me he wanted this house for his sister so she could rent it. And I'm like, well, there's plenty of rentals around. Leave me alone. I'm not selling my house. Move into an apartment. Are you kidding?
Well, I'm glad you made the right decision on that. You got to do what's best for you.
Yeah, I wanted my house. I wanted a garden. I had one, but they wrecked my garden. They actually filled in my garden, Amy. I had one in the middle of my yard and had dug it out. It was about 6-8 inches deep or whatever, and I had the dirt around the edges. I put bricks in it, and I couldn't figure out why the bricks were always in the middle of the garden, crushing my plants and whatnot. And, well, now I know what happened. But then they went ahead and they just filled it in. They took all that dirt on the side, and they filled it in and moved the bricks. And I was looking outside. I'm like, what happened? Because I hadn't been messing around with the yard because it's too hard, because they're always killing the plants, planting weeds.
Right.
Full-size weeds.
Well, sometimes weeds are healthy.
Yeah, not those, but yeah, I get what you mean. But they did it so they would be like right in the middle of the flower or whatever the plant was, or so close to it was like growing inside of the plant. So I actually had to dig out the root because you couldn't pull it out. However they did it, I don't know how in the world they did it, Amy, but they would just appear overnight. Or if I ever went somewhere and I came home and I looked in my yard, I'm like, how in the world did that even get there? Because I was out there every day. There's no way that I could have full-grown weeds, especially you could tell somebody did it because there were several different types of weeds in that spot, and you couldn't pull them out. And I go into the field and I pull out similar weeds, and I'm like, okay, this is coming out really easy. Why can't I pull it out of my garden? Yeah, so I don't know what they did. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's stuff that I wouldn't even know about. I don't have a green thumb for the life of me. I end up killing all my plants.
Outdoor plants are a lot easier than indoor plants are, so they should be anyway, not for me. I had almost 40 different kinds of rose bushes, and they killed most of them. Yeah, so.
All right. Well, if it had to relate to that date and time stamp, I would probably focus on that, and maybe something's happening through the comp controller through the city with the harassment.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Because that's all city ordinances right there. So if they're trying to fine you, push you off that property, maybe that neighbor has a connection to that comp controller, that's something that you would have a physical documentation. Especially for selling and purchases of homes.
I haven't had any problems except the harassment with them taking the nails out of my roof to make make it leak. Just the damage that they do to the house. But they do this to a lot of targets, so I can't see how it would be just to get me out, because even people in apartments are dealing with similar issues.
Right. All right. Let's continue to the 30 to the 45-second marker. They said double hit in the head.
Yeah, they do that a lot.
They said circles up in the spaceport. They said check the frequency channels. They said Dillard Dahmer.
Dillard Dahmer?
That could be a name. They did find the femurs, so I'm probably just going to say like Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
There are threats like where inside your house.
What did they say about my house?
They made a statement where inside your house.
Oh, okay.
They made a statement hyper, dreamer, sleep. They made a statement, what's your poison? They made a statement, I like the harder stuff. They said lipid. Oh, sorry, not lipid. We can connect Congress.
Huh. I wonder who specifically they might be talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
I said, I wonder who specifically they might be talking about.
Well,
Congress.
here they're talking about, okay, so in the beginning, when we first did it, like the 0 to 15-second marker on the first day, they were talking about the spaceport. So now they first got up that spaceport weapon system. They got the circles up and ready, right? But possibly making threat. When that person said, "What's your poison?" I like the harder stuff. Those were answers and responses. That might be a new customer, right? Customer service and employee statements. They're trying to find connections. And then the response would be, "We can connect Congress." So if he likes the harder stuff, he might be going after specific Congress members, or he could be connecting into judicial administration and spying on people along those ways too, as well.
Okay. Wow. Wow, there's a lot of information here.
They made a statement, attack the feet. They said concrete services.
It sounds like it might be a business.
Huh?
That sounds like might be a business.
Business, yeah. Like that Elite Tire.
Yeah.
They made a statement that's for parking. They made a statement that's diamond backup. That might be relating to Congress. Some of the trafficking operations have different codes, like diamond. like a diamond room or a champagne room, right? Or they have different types of features. So maybe that statement is like, we can connect Congress, that's diamond backup. Maybe, obviously, the congressmen or women have backup systems in order for the operations or trafficking operations into specific harder stuff like the femurs, right?
Right. It's hard to imagine that somebody we elected is doing that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Right. They said they left Julia. They said ice cream products, radio frequencies. They said they got real drugs. They said missile predator. Predator is a drone. Missile is the weapon system that is being accessed inside of that predator drone for physical attacks. Usually missiles, missile waves, um, missile targeting acquisition systems. Missiles can be used for multiple tracking surveillance purposes. They're not just like a fire a missile, right? And blow everything up.
Right, okay.
So there's different built-in components to a missile that could be used. They have video camera systems, they have surveillance systems, they have tracking and monitoring. So there's a lot of different components that could go inside of a missile system. Usually if you're being attacked with a missile, they have a jabbing or poking effect, possibly could break ribs. They leave a lot of bruises on side of the body. They're definitely more of a jabbing and poking sensation for stimulation when they're being used on people. So if you had effect things like that with those weapon systems, that would correlate with the missile attack.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because the bruises I get are very deep. They're not, they're not like regular bruises like you get when you run into a table, for example, or something like that. They look different. But I also get physically assaulted, and they know how to bruise so it doesn't show up in certain light, like, at a trafficking hospital.
Right. But remember, the lightning bolt equipment is more on the electrical side, and that was inside of the other recording.
Right, okay.
So you got to make sure this is why dates and times are so important, because the recording refers to the incident that took place at that time and the occurrence at that time. So if you were possibly hearing roof sounds or someone walking on your roof at that time, maybe something with the missiles, like thuds, they can create air pressure.
Okay.
Missile systems, depending on the missile system, like a Predator drone, they could possibly target up to 1,500 to 2,400 people at a time.
Oh my gosh.
That is military grade equipment.
Wow.
Predator drones also have a range, short-range weapon system of 2,400 miles, long-range weapon system 7,500 miles. So that Predator drone could have been somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean or in a complete different state and still target you from that spot or location.
Wow.
As long as the weapon system is inside of that range of your area, they could use that for personal attacks.
Wow.
So that's why, if you think about it, like our atmosphere or stratosphere, when they do military missions, they're up 75,000 feet up into the air, taking aerial pictures of the ground. That's because their range needs to be, or those pictures and the images have to be inside that range so they could do it for surveillance purposes. Now, there is different types of Predator drones out there. One is also like it's called a bio UAV Predator drone. So depending on the type of Predator drone that's being used, the bio UAV would probably be more for biometric systems. That's why probably they were talking about low energy. Pick low energy. Weapon systems are high energy weapon system and low energy weapon systems. So that means that that Predator drone possibly might be underneath some ECO or Green New Deal or Bidenomics, and for eco-friendly low energy sources. Because a high energy laser weapon system is different than a low energy weapon system, and they need low energy so nobody spontaneously combusts.
Oh, wow. Wow. It's really spooky to think about that they can make somebody spontaneously combust if they wanted to.
Well, that would make sense why they were talking about the wattage signals, the watt signals and the colors and the wavelengths in order to make sure that it's that low, it maintains that low energy speed or that low energy attack on different areas. So like the double hit on your head, right? They're attacking your foot, your feet, attack the feet, they said.
Yeah, they've been
So-
doing a lot. Well, my whole body, actually. But, yeah.